Jason Eady has the voice, the songwriting chops, and a great sense of how to mix country with blues and soul. And they're all on display on this live version of Once Upon a Time Down in New Orleans, off his album, Mississippi.
Way down in New Orleans, I was on a drive. I was driving from Nashville to Asheville, and it was raining the whole way. And I don't know why, I just started thinking about New Orleans. I grew up going down there a lot when I was a kid, and I've seen a lot of things over the years, and I just had all that time on the road, and so I was just singing all these verses in my head, you know, everything I could think of that I'd seen down there. And I wrote about 20 verses to this song, and I kept the ones that fit, you know, made the record. But I could actually do a part 2 of this one. But it's another really fun one to do. On the record, there's a really cool story with this. A guy named Branden Lewis, who plays with the Preservation Hall Jazz Band in New Orleans, the trumpet player. I met him on a random trip down to New Orleans one time and got to know him, and we stayed in touch. And so when I made this record and did this song, I called him up and asked him if he wanted to play on it. So there's an authentically New Orleans, you know, trumpet player on this song on the recording, and so that was really cool to get him to do that.
This is another song off this new record. It's a song about a place I love going down to. It's about New Orleans, Louisiana, and I wrote this song about a lot of things I've seen in New Orleans over the years. I ended up with about 20 verses to this song, and I had to cut it down to make it short enough for the record, because I've seen a lot of things in New Orleans over the years. These are the ones I can talk about. Trumpet in a one-man band. I jumped to my feet when I heard him sing. Once upon a time in New Orleans. I got a craving for some catfish and some hot gumbo. I sat out on the street and ate it nice and slow. I gave a high five to an old drag queen. Upon a time in New Orleans. It was a jazz band jamming down on Frenchman Street. They's having a time and keeping the beat. The crowd was jumping, it was getting obscene. Once upon a time in New Orleans. Some voodoo on me, tried to read my mind. I said, what you trying to do? She said, come on in and see. Once upon a time in New Orleans. Well, down in Jackson Square, they was all out dancing. They asked me to join them, I didn't stand a chance. I did the white man boogie like you ain't never seen. Once upon a time in New Orleans. Stumbling around, I tried to step it up, but I kept falling down. The bon ton roulette till I was on my knees. Once upon a time in New Orleans. So if you ever get the chance, go and see it yourself. Take your inhibitions, leave them up on a shelf. Lose your mind and set your spirit free. Down in New Orleans. 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 All right. Thank y'all so much. Thank you.